Yo, 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 it's your boy Ron Flip the Jump, man. And I'm back with another video to the Netflix show, the Netflix movie, The Rip. Let's get into it. Alright, so The Rip, this high-stake action thriller on Netflix starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck is a Miami-Dade narcotics cops. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a tactical drug unit that discovers millions hidden in cash during a raid and trust. Within the team and within the law, the trust and within the team and law, it starts to crumble. So this joint dropped on January 16, 2026, right? So the core plot of it, right? So, all right, look. A Miami police task force get this tip. They supposed to have got this Crime Stoppers tip, leading them to a stash house. So inside the stash house, they find about 20 million in cash hidden inside the walls, inside like these big orange Lowe's buckets. So immediately, suspicious hit. Is this cartel money, dirty cops, or something else? So the team has to count the cash right there. You know, they got to do this like under a tight, it's like part of their legal protocols, you know what I'm saying? So while they do it, it's a lot of paranoia that spreads. Is someone going to run all with it? Are they all on the same team? So the friendships and loyalties are like tested during this time. 20 mil. Crazy. Especially between Damon's Lieutenant Dane Dumas, you know what I'm saying, and the Affleck guy, Detective J.D. Byron. So, you know, as outside pressures and internal doubts stacks up, it gets real tense, you know what I'm saying? So the title, The Rip itself is a cop slang for huge seizures or busts, basically, that are like real hot. So it's tangled mess that they just pulled up and like they just got into. Like this one was just like it was just not what they expected. So the themes and the vibes of the movie, you know what I'm saying, is like it's not your typical shoot 'em up cop movie. It's more like a trust breaking down type movie. Everyone starts wondering who's clean, who's dirty when the money's on the line. You know what I'm saying? So when the systems gives you an opportunity like this, do you play by the rules or do you turn the game? Brotherhood and loss. It's also about two partners processing a tragic loss and how that shapes their choices under pressure. They both going through something, both of the two partner cops, you know what I'm saying? So this the ending. No spoiler caps though. They unmasked the traitor on the team. It's a traitor. It's a mole in the team. You know what I'm saying? Some dirty cops. Or cop trying to steal the stash. Turns out to be big plans. It wasn't theft at all. The leader, he staged a lot of shit. He staged a lot of confusion to expose the snitch and to protect the money. So most of the cash goes to authorities. And look, it's a twist too. The bad guys, they end up with worthless phone books instead of the real money. So when they thought that they was actually getting away with the money, it was a bunch of fucking phone books. So inside the stash house, it was a lot of fucking phone books. Why? Yellow pages was there? I don't know. So LT and Byron, they survived a whole ordeal and reflect on honor and loss. But with a poetic nod to it, Dumas, his late son, questions. After all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, after he done lost his son and all that shit, he asks, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we the good guys? So it's gritty. And this movie, this Netflix movie, it keeps you guessing and wraps you with it's some justice served, but not without soul. You know what I'm saying? So it's actually based on some real stuff, but it's not a documentary. So here's where it gets interesting. All right. So yes, this movie was inspired by a real Miami-Dade stash money seizure where police found massive amount of cash during a 2016 raid, to be exact. Yeah, 2016. So Matt Damon's, his character is loosely based on a real officer. The real officer during this 2016 raid was Chris Casino, something like that, who lived through the raid. So, but the plot twist though, it's a lot of cartel drama. It's some corruption angels, the city of angels, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And not the city of angels. We talking about Miami right here. and it shouts out, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are mostly cinematic flavors added to the movie, but not historical facts. You know what I'm saying? The movie is not everything what happened in reality. So this isn't a true crime. It's a fiction flavored by reality. Bottom line, if you like tension over explosion, character conflict over cheap thrills, dark morality over black and white cops and robbers, this is a very compelling watch for y'all. Y'all gonna like this. Matt Damon plus Ben Affleck, two great actors. They bring this chemistry, but it's like the paranoia in an ethical maze that really drives the story. You know what I'm saying? So the final twist. Who was the mole? Spoiler alert. It was Detective Mike Rowe, also known as Steven Yeun. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might know him from Walking Dead and stuff like that, and other Netflix shows. So he's the inside guy working with the DEA agent, Matty Nix government, Kyle Chandler. These are both the bad guys, you know what I'm saying? So to grab the money and they also was involved in Captain Jackie Vale's murder at the start of the movie. You'll see her getting unalive in the beginning of the movie. But here where it gets real spicy. Lieutenant Dan Dumas, also known as Matt Damon, you know what I'm saying, knew someone was riding before the chaos even erupted. He purposely spread different numbers about the money to each of his teammates so he could see which number came back through the mystery threatened calls. He told everybody a different amount. Everybody was like, how much is this rip for? How much is it this rip? He told one person 100, one person 150, one person 200, one 300. I'm like, damn, the whole time I'm thinking it's him that's trying to steal the money. And once one did, he knew that the team members, who the team numbers were tied back to the leak. It was very smart of him. So the whole is Dumas still in it. That's what we was thinking. The vibe was actually him playing 4D chess to flush out the real bad ones. This is how he know who was in on trying to steal this stash. So what happens to the main squad? Lieutenant Dane Dumas, also known as Matt Damon, he ends up proving he was never corrupt. He outplays the traitors. He gets Roe, which was the snitch, the mole. He gets him arrested, and he sees the real money safely turned into authorities. Like, they did all this shit to make sure that all this money was turned in. They could have walked away with it, though, for real. So he's a walking mix-up, tough guy and deep heart, still wrestling with the memory of his late son, who questions about, are we the good guys? Becomes like more the emotional backbone of the movie finale, you know what I'm saying? So Detective J.D. Byron, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know him as Ben Affleck, you know what I'm saying? Also plays in a lot of good movies. He starts the night by suspecting Dumas, which is his partner, thinking that he's going to flip and steal the cash. So that tension in the movie is real. He actually thinking it's going to be him that's going to steal the money. But once it's revealed as Dumas' plan, Byron, he flips to like a full on backup. Like, he kills Maddie next in the big confrontation and survives, witnessing the sunrise beside Dumas. It's like a symbolic reset and homage to their captain, you know what I'm saying? Live to see another sunrise. Detective Mike Rowe, Steve Yen, he's the traitor. He's the guy who sold out his whole team to try to take this 20 mil stash, you know what I'm saying, this rip. Working with Maddie to get rich, and even involved in Jackie's death, you know what I'm saying? So Dumas calls him out and arrests him after the truth unraveling from the mismatched money intel by telling them different numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like when somebody called and be like, yo, you don't have to die over 150, because he knew he told Roe the 150. You know what I'm saying? So he knew who the mole was. Desi, you know what I'm saying? Her name is Sasha Cal. That's her government, you know what I'm saying? She's the civilian in this junk. She's caught in the storm of all this shit. But she gets a share of the reward for helping out and survives throughout the whole ordeal. Detective Numa Baptiste and Loli Salsa, they turned out to be clean cops, you know what I'm saying? They was the ones that was counting the cash, you know what I'm saying? They played it straight and they delivered to the cops properly. No betrayal at all. So what really happens to the money in the movie The Rip? The real cash never gets stolen. Dumas, he swapped it out for old phone books that Desi grandma collected. You know what I'm saying? When the road team members went for it, so when Roe and Maddie flee with the bags, it's just paper junk, just a bunch of phone books. I was wondering why she had all them damn yellow pages and phone books in the garage. I'm talking about it was a lot of them. She collected them joints for years, and they thought that they were stealing money, and they had phone books. But this is the movie. It's not the real story. So meanwhile, the trusted officers, they get the real stash to the authorities. You know what I'm saying? So the twist turns the entire heist vibe into like a sting, not a heist, not a heist. You know what I'm saying? So the emotional close on it, you know what I'm saying? The movie, it ends in peace, not chaos like everybody thought, you know what I'm saying? With some chaos in it somewhere in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? when they thought they was having a shootout with the cartel. But Dumas and Byron, they lived to see the sunrise together. You know what I'm saying? Tying back to their captain's philosophy, you know what I'm saying? Live to see another sunrise. You know what I'm saying? Dumas, he finally comes to terms with his son's death, reaffirming that, you know, despite all the brutality and the corruption around them, they were the good guys in the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had to question themselves about was they the good guys? Because, you know what I'm saying, it's like we turning in all this money when we could have had opportunity to really steal it, you know what I'm saying? So I guess, you know, they felt like they the good guys. So the final shot was that them watching the sunrise on the beach at the end, it was purposeful. Purposeful. And, you know, after a long night, a brutal night of mistrust and violence, they back on the right side of themselves again. You know what I'm saying? So all right, let's walk through the rip scene by scene so you can get the plot beats. You know what I'm saying? The character moves and the twist tight and clear. You know what I'm saying? It's a good joint, y'all. This joint is on Netflix. Netflix cut me my check. The Rip producers cut me my check for this review. So, y'all know by now you watch, you know what I'm saying, I rate from 1 to 5 on the popcorn, but I'm not finished yet. So, scene by scene, open act, the setup, the captain's death. The movie started with Captain Jackie Vales, you know what I'm saying, she getting gunned down in her car after a mysterious phone call. Everyone assumes that it's cartel or dirty cops involved, or both. So this death is like the spark that kicks the whole plot into motion. Then you got scene 2, the phone call tip. Lieutenant Dane Dumas, you know what I'm saying, also known as Damien, you know what I'm saying, he gets a tip about a stash house in Highly, I don't know, I'm pronouncing that shit, you know what I'm saying, supposedly holding, you know what I'm saying, all this money. It leads to the tactical narcotics team out there, you know what I'm saying. Then you got scene 3, into the cash. So inside the house, they find $20 million in the cash hidden in the attic. It's cartel money. It's definitely cartel money. Everyone alarm bells are going off because it's way bigger than the normal bust that they ever did. You know what I'm saying? So they like, with this kind of amount of money, they know it's about to be some smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just not gonna let this shit go down. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the middle act, where it's a lot of greed, suspicion, and strategy going on. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the different numbers. Dumas tells each team member a different amount of how much the rip is, how much money is really there. You know what I'm saying? Supposedly be there. You know what I'm saying? But he does this intentionally. It sets up who might be the leaker later in the movie. Then you got the phone scenes. You know, everybody's phone is confiscated. It's asking for everybody's phone. Dumas decides to count the cash on site instead of follow strict protocol and also confiscates phones. You know what I'm saying? But Roe, the one who happens to be the bad guy, the dirty cop in there, he sneaks a burner phone inside of his vest, like right here. He sneaks one in. I think he knew that they was gonna be asking for phones. So this made everyone more nervous and, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, claustrophobic, you know what I'm saying? So then you got scene 6, the threatening calls. The phone calls that was coming from the outside that was calling in the house. You know what I'm saying? So someone calls the house telling the team to leave or people would die. Because the callers used one of the money amounts Dumas told Roe. So Dumas starts to suspect Roe is leaking information. I'm like, That's how he know Roe was the one, because he told Roe a specific number. He told this person a specific number. He told that person a specific number. So when the phone call came and the threat call came and was like, get out of there, no one needs to die over 150,000, he knew it was Roe. Then you got scene 7, JD Suspicious, Detective JD Barron, on Affleck. He starts to doubt Dumas, his partners. He think Dumas might be planning to steal the cash. So he calls in the DEA agent, Maddie Nix, for backup. But not knowing Maddie is in on the shit with Roe. So the climax of this joint, it revealed and confrontational, you know what I'm saying? Then you got scene 8. It's a setup. Dumas reveals he's never meant to steal the cash to his partner. He orchestrated the whole entire thing so he could see who leaked information and exposed the corrupt players. That's why he told different numbers to different people. Then you got 9, the betrayal unmasked. Detective Mike Rowe and DEA agent Maddie Nix are revealed as the corrupt ones, and who also killed their own captain, Jackie. You know what I'm saying? And then they was the ones planning to steal the stash. So Dumas, he figured out by tracking the numbers and the threatened phone call, like I told y'all. Then you got scene 10, the gunfight and the chase. This is where a lot of action goddamn goes down there. Big action sequence to be exact. So Maddie, he tries to flee with the bags. Actually, you know what I'm saying, but it was it was full of phone books. It wasn't cash. You know what I'm saying? So Byron, he kills Maddie in a shootout. It was like a shootout in the back of one of these big bulletproof SWAT Jones that they go out. You know what I'm saying? And Dumas, he arrests Roe after a chase. So resolution. Why does the resolution matter? You know what I'm saying? Because 11, it was the cash swap. The team had already secretly swapped out the real cash with a bunch of phone books from that's his grandmother. So the traders, they run off with worthless sacks of money, with worthless sacks of bags, thinking that it's money, when the real monies get turned into for evidence. Then you got scene 12, Desi, the girl she was like basically the innocent person of this whole thing. She ain't know nothing was going on. You know, Desi Rowe, you know what I'm saying? She ends up getting a legitimate cut of the seizure because she's cooperative and she's helped with the investigation. So this is a real thing. They actually get like amounts of these seizures, these rips. And then you got 13. You got scene 13. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sunrise closure where Dumas and Byron, they survived the crooked cops and they're dealt with. You know what I'm saying? And the stores end up them watching the sunrise. You know what I'm saying? The story ends with them watching the sunrise on the beach. You know what I'm saying? Creating a symbolic tie to their Captain Jack's motto, live to see another sunrise. That was their motto, you know what I'm saying? Same thing, live to see another day. So what does this all adds up to? The rip. This movie isn't just about cops versus cartel. It's about trust under pressure. Who's really loyal? And whether you can navigate morally gray zones through your head without losing yourself. So Dumas, you know, his setup and different numbers, you know what I'm saying, was a straight detective psychological thing, you know what I'm saying? He created it and he controlled the experiment to expose the betrayal ones. So the ending emphasizes choices and consequences. You know what I'm saying? So even in a world full of danger and temptation, the real measure of being good guys is like, was there standing by your principles while protecting your own. But here's the real story behind the Netflix The Rip, though. How a wild, real-life Miami cash bust inspired the whole movie. What actually happened, and the key difference from the Hollywood version was, we're going to get into it, you know what I'm saying? So this is what happened in the real event. So there was a real event once upon a time ago, back in 2016, you know what I'm saying? Miami's big cash bust. Yes. So the Rip is loosely based on a true police operation in real life. Back in June 2016, to be exact, Miami-Dade's narcotics officers raided a stash. You know what I'm saying? The stash house, and they uncovered an insane amount of cash. But this was over 20 million. In the movie, it was 20 million. In the real life, this was over 20 million. Hidden inside buckets in a secret attic compartment. You know what I'm saying? It was the largest cash seizure in the history of the Miami-Dade police. Let you know that there's a lot of money coming through there. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? It was the biggest in history of Miami-Dade Police Department at that time. You know what I'm saying? Probably still to this day. So the stash was uncovered behind a false wall and hidden in Home Depot. I said, Lord, they was hidden in Home Depot buckets. They was stuffed with bundles of $100 bills. You know what I'm saying? Old school and new school. Probably old school back then. Ain't no new school. I don't know. Was it 2016? I don't know. They had new school bills or what? I don't know. But anyway, the investigation was real and serious, tied to a drug trafficking and money laundering network. You know what I'm saying? The owners of the house, Luis Hernandez, Gonzalez, you know what I'm saying? They later pled guilty to money laundering, forfeiting millions, and receiving prison time. So the seed of the story was, you know what I'm saying, cops walking into a house and finding way more cash than they expected. You know what I'm saying? It was absolutely real. This was a real thing that happened. You know what I'm saying? This actually happened. 2016, Miami-Dade County. The real officer behind the movie that, you know, the character Lieutenant Dane Dumas, that was the character name, which is known as Matt Damon. You know what I'm saying? It was loosely inspired by a real Miami-Dade police. You know what I'm saying? Officer name, what his name was, Chris Casino. You know what I'm saying? So who supervised the narcotics team involved in the actual 2016 raid. So while this film like dramatized events, Casino really did experience the shock of discovering a mass hidden cash hoard and was integral to letting the story be told on screen. You know what I'm saying? So the personal emotional thread of it, you know what I'm saying? One of the deeper emotional layers in the movie was when Dumas was grieving his late son. In the films, you know what I'm saying, you know, the ending tribute comes, you know what I'm saying, comes from real life. Matt Damon's character's backstory, you know what I'm saying, loss of a younger son, you know, mirrors a real aspect of Casino's life, Chris Casino, you know what I'm saying? You know, his son. And then his name was Jake William Casino. he died of cancer in 2021. So the film, it includes in loving memory, you know what I'm saying, of Jake William Casino, you know what I'm saying? It's a credit, as a tribute to him, you know what I'm saying? Because the director of the movie, he wanted a heartfelt, core, and honest tribute rather than just an action flick. He wanted this movie to be more than that. So even on the emotional soul of the movie, it has roots in reality. Not as plots, events, but as live human experience though. Y'all gotta go see this. The Rip was a good one. It was a good rip. So what this movie does that didn't really happen. So the movie turns up the drama a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Here's where it deviates. You know what I'm saying? In real life, they didn't have corrupt cops and shootouts. In real life, there's no evidence that officers fought over the money or shot at each other like the film's climax it to be. There wasn't no major betrayal within the team. The intense traitor subplot in the Rip, cops secretly trying to steal cash, is fictional. That's Hollywood storytelling, adding that little sauce to it, you know what I'm saying, to spice the movie up. There was no cartel gunman in a high-stress siege. The high-stakes threat from outside forces, alarm, cartel, gun battles, and mayhem that was all in the movie, that was all created. You know what I'm saying? It was more of an embellishment for tension and spectacle of the movie. Characters like Desi and many characters in the movies, including like the woman in the stash house and others, the dramatic elements is all fictional additions for narrative impact, but not for like historical records. You know what I'm saying? But in the movie, that person wants some money and shit for cooperating and shit, because they act like they ain't know about the money. Bottom line, real versus Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Here's the honest remix. Here's the real truth. What happened in real life? Yeah, it was a massive cash stash. 20 million plus was found in the Miami stash house. A real Miami-Dade narcotics officer, Chris Casino, he experienced it. Casiano, I think it's Casiano, Casiano, Casiano. I've been saying his name. I've been saying Casino. So Chris Casiano, he experienced this in real life. You know what I'm saying? The emotional core of loss and justice has a real human connection. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood had its own fiction parts of it. You know what I'm saying? There was no actual team betrayal and shootouts over the cash, like I said. The dramatic plot and twist confrontations are all storytelling, not documented. It wasn't documented, you know what I'm saying? Characters and motivations are mostly invented to elevate stakes, you know what I'm saying, all through this movie. So The Rip, it takes a real Miami cash bust event, one of the biggest in the department's history, and they use it as a launch pad for a gritty, character-driven thrill packed with morality, tension, and betrayal that didn't actually happen in reality. They just used that shit to create their own Hollywood version. but it took a little spin for a little bit of truth of it, though. So y'all got to get deeper with these movies, man. Y'all just can't just come on here and just get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Y'all got to get some motherfucking facts. Y'all got to get some history. Y'all got to really break this shit down. That's what I'm doing with these Jumpman reaction videos to these movies and these TV shows. And then I'm going to rate these motherfuckers with how many popcorns, man. So from 1 to 5 to rip the Netflix movie, I'm giving this joint 5 popcorns. Like I said, it wasn't your regular cop movie. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't your regular cop versus cartel movie. But it was good enough. 5 popcorns. Peace, I'm out. Man, Wadu.